WBCB presents Pro Wrestling Weekly,
the longest-running pro wrestling radio talk show in the history of terrestrial radio.
And he's obviously Michael Cole.
Call in with a question or comment at 215-949-3232 or 888-922-2149.
Talking wrestling.
Yeah.
Because that's what this show's about. That's what we've been doing for over 16 years.
No. It's about sports entertainment.
And now here are your hosts of Pro Wrestling Weekly, Fearon and Lucas DeSangro.
Will you stop marking out over there?
Sorry.
Move over, kid. I'm taking your microphone.
You're shallow. You know that?
I'm running on 2 hours of sleep. I don't remember what the hell I do anymore.
Shut up!
There's the sound of the bell, and we are set to go. This is Pro Wrestling Weekly here on 1490 WBCB and online at WBCB1490.com. Fearon Derry here with you, flying solo here with all my friends on my... yes, this is a very special day that has pretty much not exactly gone as planned as... Well, even though this is usually something that you would see in the end part of the segment... And it still will be. There's just a particular slight change. It's a little bit different as far as one particular thing.
Birthdays!
Yeah, that's right. Yours truly. It happened, I think, 6 years ago, and now it's come around again here that the show has happened to fall on my birthday, and I feel like... I was going to say Christmas is usually where the bad folks get coal, but I guess in this case that's what I've gotten. But nonetheless...
I'm 37. What? I'm 37. I'm not old.
Thank you, Monty Python. Yes, so things, due to circumstances beyond my control, not quite going as initially planned. And that's pretty much all I'm going to be able to say about that. Lucas was intending to be with me, but he actually is en route to a seminar that's going on at the Ring of Honor dojo, which I'd initially advertised him to be a part of this here and didn't find out about it until he actually tweeted about it. So there's a lot of different things that have been going on here, but that notwithstanding, we're going to make things be as normal as they can and kind of go from there. So as we were talking about last week, the big announcement from this past Monday, as expected, the first time in WWE history an all-women's exclusive pay-per-view event. It's going to be called Evolution, not to be compared to the faction from around 2003-2004 with Ric Flair and Triple H and Batista and Randy Orton. No, this is a pay-per-view Evolution, and that's going to be taking place Sunday, October 28th at 7 p.m. Eastern, and that's from NYCB Live, the home of the Nassau Veterans Memorial Coliseum in New York. And the event will stream live on WWE Network and will be available on pay-per-view around the world and will feature women's championship matches from Monday Night Raw, as well as SmackDown Live, NXT, NXT UK, and we'll also have the finals of the all-women's tournament, the Mae Young Classic 2018. So it's... From everything that I've heard, it's a good thing. The one contrarian argument that I've heard as far as women's wrestling becoming more mainstream and more featured in this regard is that women's wrestling for a long time was an attraction, and do you lose that attraction by having it more featured? To use an independent wrestling example, some women's wrestlers, they'd be able to garner a 3-figure payday because of the fact that they're a women's wrestler. However, if women's wrestlers are wrestling as consistently as the men are, does that payday go down to, as some in the business jokingly refer to from some promoters, the hot dog and a handshake? Meaning that's pretty much just you get a hot dog from the concession stand and a handshake from the promoter, and that's pretty much your pay for wrestling a match. So is that going to be the case? Is that something that may be long-term an issue down the road? Who knows? It's hard to say. But as far as just providing some sort of fairground recognition when it comes to to genders, it's certainly a good thing in that there is that feature. I mean, not that you'd have... Well, I mean, for a long while, I guess there were all men's pay-per-views and matches when they weren't featuring women's wrestling. I mean, the early 90s for sure, when there was that break of about 4 years, at least in the World Wrestling Federation, as far as the women's championship. They kind of had a hiatus from roughly 1990 to 1994. So, I mean, that's one example. So we'll see, I guess. And WCW was that way for a long while, where they didn't have women's wrestling in there. So it's good to see that women's wrestling is being featured. It's just something I guess it's going to, well, I don't even know if it's going to take adjustment to. It's something you're not used to seeing, so it's going to be a new experience, and ideally it should be a good one. At least that's what we're looking for here in terms of development and profit and things of that nature. Now, Stephanie had also noted, Stephanie McMahon, in an interview with Sky Sports, that based on all of the focus on the women's wrestlers and the fact that you're going to have an all-women's pay-per-view, and something that has been toyed with in the past by different companies, but it seems like it hadn't really taken off the ground too much, is the potential reintroduction of women's tag team championships. And while that is a sound theory, I know that a lot of people, maybe a lot of people my age and even a little bit older, they think back to that brief period where they had them in the WWE in 1987 and 88, I want to say, where you had teams like the Glamour Girls and the Jumping Bomb Angels, just as a couple of examples that had those ever brief women's tag team titles. But according to Stephanie McMahon, she said there won't be those women's tag titles in place by the Evolution pay-per-view. So you won't be seeing them over the course of the next 3 months, since it's 3 months from today that the pay-per-view will be occurring. She had said in that Sky Sports interview, quote, "Not quite yet, but that's absolutely something we've heard loud and clear from our fan base, and it's something we're keen on implementing as soon as we are able to." Interesting wording of that. Keen on implementing as soon as we're able to. It's maybe it's because it was around the time where they were going over the quarterly figures, which we'll talk a little bit more about in the hour here, but maybe she was just getting a little too corporate-ese with the language on it. I mean, it could say, we've heard loud and clear from our fan base, and it's something we're looking into and looking to introduce, maybe something along those lines, but keen on implementing. The wording on it sounds a little askew, for lack of a better term. And also, it seems like we've got a little bit of a women's theme going on here. The SmackDown General Manager Paige announcing that there will be teams competing in a tournament over the course of the next few weeks leading up to SummerSlam to determine the number one contenders to the SmackDown tag titles. And it looks like it's going to be a 4-team tournament. So you've got the New Day, you've got Sanity, you've got the Usos, and you've got the Bar, Sheamus and Cesaro. Now, those matches will be playing out over the next 3 weeks on SmackDown, and the winning team will challenge the Bludgeon Brothers for the SmackDown Tag Team Championships at SummerSlam. And that is one of what looks to be 7 matches that have been announced thus far. The others, all having some sort of title or title implication on the line, as you've got Carmella defending the SmackDown Women's title against Becky Lynch. You've got a rematch here from Extreme Rules of Dolph Ziggler against Seth Rollins for the Intercontinental Championship after that Iron Man match that just went into overtime. You've got the Raw Women's title, Alexa Bliss against Ronda Rousey. Great for the MMAers out there. And then we'll get to the anomaly of the mix here first, in that for a rare occasion, the Money in the Bank contract is on the line. That lovable briefcase. Braun Strowman is defending it against Kevin Owens, so if Owens wins, he will acquire the Money in the Bank contract that was won by Braun Strowman at the pay-per-view a little bit earlier. And also, Well, the WWE and Universal Championships are on the line. AJ Styles defending the WWE title against Samoa Joe, which is something that if this were 8 years ago, you'd be shocked to hear, as both were firmly entrenched as the top guys in TNA Impact Wrestling. So, how things have changed. But that's just how it is with wrestling in general. And finally, the Universal Championship on the line. Brock Lesnar coming out of hibernation to defend it against Roman Reigns, as a lot of people have joked with the minimal and few and far between title defenses for Brock Lesnar. Already holding the title for well over, I think he's up to over 450 days at this point. I'll have to double check the exact number on that. Perhaps I'll do that in the timeout coming up here. And we'll also get into some of, as I mentioned, the totals, the quarterly numbers. It's all about the money, as Vince McMahon says. So we'll see how that will go. I'll say it's going about as good as it can be. I mean, if you look at the WWE stock, it's been doing pretty good, and one person cashed out on that pretty nicely this week. We'll tell you a little bit more about that on the other side. Also, some interesting contract news and a possible reunion that, it's questionable if everybody necessarily wants to see it. All that and more. Plus, we'll get to Ed from Northeast Philly. He's hanging on the line here. We'll get to him on the other side for the look at the local scene. This is Pro Wrestling Weekly here on 1490 WBCB and online at WBCB1490.com.
Not on my watch, our military service members say, as they volunteer to serve, as they move out, stand firm, and take fire. So not on our watch, we say, to the severely ill or injured veterans who can't get the care they deserve to live full and independent lives, even when there's no government funding or a nursing home seems like the only option. We won't leave one warrior behind. Not on our watch. Join us at findwwp.org.
All commentators heard on WBCB express their own views. Their opinions are not necessarily those of others on WBCB, including the staff and management.
Hi, it's Pete from Chicky and Pete's, and we're celebrating the summer of shellfish. Celebrating items that made us famous. Our bread-dipping good crabs, delicious hardshell, Dungeness, and snow crabs. Our mouth-watering mussels, red or white, succulent shrimp, clams, oysters, and much more. Plus, special creations just for the summer of shellfish.
Go to chickiesandpete's.com and download your Summer of Shellfish calendar for the daily specials all summer long. chickiesandpete's.com.
Featuring something special every day. It's the summer of shellfish.
Hello, I'm Dan Breen of Bucks County River Country, the world's river tubing capital. And I'm out here on the Delaware with a bunch of other folks. Hey, guys!
Hey, Dan!
And we're having the time of our lives. Listen, if you haven't been to Bucks County River Country, you don't know what you're missing. We've got tubing, canoeing, kayaking, rafting, and our tiki-style Riverside Cafe to whet your palate. You'll have loads of fun with the family, friends, or even a company outing. See for yourself. Check out our webcam at rivercountry.net. And while you're there, make your reservations online. Discounts are available for groups of 20 or more. Remember, the average water temperature is 80 degrees, and it's so easy to get here. We're just 8 miles north of New Hope, Pennsylvania. Don't miss out on the most fun you could have this summer. Come to Bucks County River Country, the world's river tubing capital. Hey, Holmes, we love to see you wet.
Buy your season pass for Bucks County River Country online today at rivercountry.net. That's rivercountry.net, or call 215-297-5000.
He's got the Luigi death stare from Fearon, so he might have to...
I didn't give you the Luigi death stare. That's not true.
You're breaking kayfabe.
Breaking kayfabe. Gonna break something else during this commercial.
There we go. That's what I like to see.
And now, more Pro Wrestling Weekly with your hosts, Fearon Derry and Lucas DeSangro.
Are we getting into that controversy again?
I know how it feels, and it's not fun.
Welcome back to Pro Wrestling Weekly here on 1490 WBCB and online at WBCB1490.com. Fearon Derry here with you. Going solo here on my birthday. I say, should I take a little bit to play Eric Carmen's All By Myself? I don't know. Good tune, but maybe maybe doesn't quite fit the sentiment here. Well, actually, I shouldn't say I'm all by myself, because one person joining me here on the phones is none other than Ed from Northeast Philly. Ed, welcome to Pro Wrestling Weekly.
Happy birthday.
Thank you. It's, well, there's still about 11 and a half hours to turn it around. We'll see.
And Lucas abandoned you again. So.
Well, it's not so much abandoned. I think all right, I will briefly get into this. It's more so the matter of, if he had just said, hey, I've got this seminar thing, is it cool if I did like half the show or something like that? Or, is it cool if I bowed out? I'd say, oh yeah, no problem. But the fact that the way I found out about the seminar was him tweeting about it after I already said, hey, join Lucas and I at the remote that we were supposed to do that now isn't. And he saw it, liked it on social media, but didn't think to say, hey, I should probably let him know about this seminar thing. That is the thing that, as Peter Griffin eloquently says, is what grinds my gears. A little Family Guy reference there.
Impact is coming to New York City for the Bound for Glory pay-per-view this October.
Yes, I have that here as something I was going to talk about in a little bit, but every once in a while you throw something in there that we've got mutually on there. Yes, the Impact Wrestling announcing this past week that the Bound for Glory pay-per-view will be held on October 14th, and that'll be in New York at the Melrose Ballroom.
I think they had that MLW there a couple of days ago.
That is correct.
Yes. That's going to be an interesting place.
It's a nice little venue there. It's at 33rd Street in Queens.
WWE's in town, not in town, but in the area.
Yeah, they're along the shore there. They're down in Wildwood.
Tonight and tomorrow night in Hershey, Pennsylvania.
That's a nice little road trip there from Wildwood to Hershey. But yeah, no, I do know of at least one person who's actually, I was going to say, one of our listeners, Sam from Mount Royal, New Jersey. He's actually in Wildwood as we speak, and is going to be checking out the Wildwood events later tonight.
ZZW in Voorhees tonight at the Coliseum. Matt Riddle, David Starr, Matt Tremont, the Bulldozer, and Joe Gacy on the card.
Oh, very nice. Always good to see Matt Riddle.
I heard he's with NXT, or signed with NXT.
I haven't heard anything coming out about that. I mean, you'd figure if there was some sort of news about it, I'd even hear it in whispers, as, I mean, he got his start in wrestling at the Monster Factory, where I'm going, but no word has come across that as of yet, and I'm saying that legitimately, like not even I've heard whispers or anything like that. No, I haven't heard one word about it, so either I'm being kept out of the loop, or
fake news.
Yeah, well, or somebody might have misreported something. I mean, I don't know for certain. I don't want to discredit anybody. The way that today's gone, I think if it's anything, it's more me being kept out of the loop. But
yeah, pretend you didn't hear that.
Exactly. We'll strike it from the record or something like that.
Takara's in Northeast Philly tonight, this afternoon. Mr. Touchdown, David Starr, and Solo Darling at the Wrestle Factory.
Ah, yes, up in Northeast Philly.
That's a pretty good building there. I went there last weekend, or the weekend before that, I meant to say.
Yeah, that's right. 2 weeks ago they had something there.
Yeah, I think they do it every 2 or 3 weeks. They'll have a show there.
Yeah, it's a nice venue, and actually it's not too far from a place that we've done a few of the Baseball Insider shows on. That's the one thing that threw me off. Right over there on Ashburner, not too far from where the Wrestle Factory is.
Ashburner, I've been in there.
We did an event. We've done a few of the Baseball Insider shows there here on WBCB, and as I was driving through, I'm like, I recognize this area, because I'd done a couple of the bits of engineering there, and I think that might have even been the place where host John Brazier had made a pretty infamous drop, if I remember right. And I'm quickly looking for it here. Yeah, this one here.
Our on-site engineer, Fearon Daisy.
Yeah, that's where the nickname Fearon Daisy came from. Which, to his credit, he owned it and just kind of doubled down on it as the next time that I did the engineering for them.
Fearon Daisy is back.
So, John Brazier, great guy, and definitely somebody to check out with the Baseball Insider show the remainder of the season on Sundays here on 1490 WBCB.
That reminds me of that pitching commercial for Fire on Can or whatever it. It was a commercial about Windows, I think.
I'll tell you, I mean, my TV watching is minimal, so I couldn't tell you. I mean, I'd probably tell you more about commercials that they put in between or, right before a either a YouTube video or a Twitch.tv video. Have to give that distinction. Yeah, I tend to get all over the place here.
And Nakamura is going to be at I Play America. He's there tomorrow from 9 a.m. in Freehold.
Well, that makes sense. I mean, since they're in Wildwood tonight, and Freehold is kind of on the way to Hershey, Pennsylvania, Nakamura making a little stop off and collecting a little extra payday. Certainly nothing wrong with that.
Carmelo and Gallows and Anderson is in Voorhees right now.
Oh, that makes sense too. Not too terribly far from where Wildwood is.
That's in Voorhees.
Well, yeah, that's what I mean. Voorhees isn't too far from Wildwood, where the show is tonight, is what I'm saying.
It's something in the air making everybody stupid today.
You know what? I will blame it on an apparently advanced aging. Even though I've apparently aged 1 year, my brain has aged about 15 at least, or 50, something like that. See, I can't even do numbers right.
Nice good convention coming up at the end of next month at the Claridge Hotel for standalone wrestling.
Oh, that's a different one.
Headlined by Goldberg and Sting. Young Bucks are on there. Brandy and Cody Rhodes. Allie from Impact. Sue Young, Danny Davis. Dominic DeMucci. All three members of Decay. Draws. Nikolai Volkov. DJ Hyde, Moose, some others too.
And this is, I'm taking a look, yeah, I heard you say the Claridge. This is in Atlantic City.
Yes. And Ken Shamrock, Dan Severn, and Matt Riddle. Plus many others on there too.
Oh yeah, I'm looking at this here. This is the last weekend in August, and there's a few different things they have going on. It's a whole weekend thing. It starts on the Friday night. There's a dinner with the stars, which includes a meal, a question and answer session, and a table photo op. And then the convention itself is on the Saturday the 25th. Also, that Saturday afternoon, Gary Michael Capetta will be hosting his Beyond Body Slams live stage show. And apparently also that weekend there is a... I was going to say the Val Venus. I can't believe I'm reading as I say it here, but a Val Venus Cannabis Summit. We know that has been something that he has partaken in post wrestling career. Well, no stranger to controversy is Val Venus, that's for sure. And then, of course, the event that Saturday night, as that would be. Yeah, the match itself, the Boardwalk Beatdown card, and then there's actually apparently an after party as well that would be at 11 o'clock that night and go until 2 in the morning on Sunday. So 2 pretty long nights, I should say, as opposed to a whole weekend. But generally at that point, if you're staying in Atlantic City that late, you may as well just stay Sunday and make the whole weekend of it.
And something for Dan from Chicago. Emma's going to be in Chicago tonight at the Pro Wrestling Tees store.
Well, that probably, I was going to say, if he probably might already know about that, and that might be why he wouldn't be on the phone if he was already making his way over to there. Can't say as I blame him.
That's going to be interesting.
Yeah, well...
That's about it.
Alrighty, yeah. Well, thank you so much for the look at the...
I'm over my time limit.
Nah, you're good to go. It's... I was gonna say, it's my show and my birthday. I can do whatever I want. Well, yeah, I'm sure as I say that, I'm sure somewhere in the back, Ted's going, "What?"
Who's in charge?
No, he's definitely in charge. If I say something a little too out of line here, I'd be sprinting into the door here and
the drop button.
Well, yeah, he'd be giving me the buzz here. I'll be whammied out for good. All right. Well, thank you so much for chiming in as always. Greatly appreciated. And we'll keep things rolling here. And want to let you know that the place to get action figures, replica title belts, sports memorabilia, banners, and more is at George's Cards and Collectibles, where there's a super signing event coming up. Actually, that same weekend, if you want to hold off on going to that Atlantic City thing, on that Friday night, August 24th, from 7 to 9 p.m. at George's Neshaminy Mall location. There's going to be for the moment at least, a 5-pack of stars there, as WWE Hall of Famer Paul Ellering, the longtime manager of the Legion of Doom and the Road Warriors. Also, former WWE stars Oksana, Kelly Kelly, Ken Shamrock, that's right, former Intercontinental Champion, and former guest on this show here, D'Lo Brown. That's right, all of them are going to be at George's Cards and Collectibles in the Chamonix Mall location on Friday, August 24th from 7 to 9 p.m. And George's has 3 locations for all of your cards and collectibles needs, including their original store at 7755 New Falls Road in Levittown, in the Neshaminy Mall in the movie theater wing, and their newest location in the Oxford Valley Mall on the second level next to Charlotte Russe. For more information, go to georgescollectibles.com and give George's Cards and Collectibles a follow on Facebook. So yeah, great birthday here. As just looking to see who all wanted to chime in here, and they're chiming in via text, but not so much by phoning in here. But no worries, we'll get into some other things here. We'll save the money talk for the other side here. But one thing. Not exactly a fun thing to get into here, as whenever there's bad news, it's, well, not necessarily a good thing, obviously, but former WWE wrestler Brian Lawler was arrested in the early morning hours 3 weeks ago for a DUI and evading police, according to TMZ. Lawler, who wrestled in WWE as Brian Christopher, as well as Grandmaster Sexay of Too Cool, and is the son of Hall of Famer WWE for the WWE Jerry the King Lawler. Well, this time around, he had an open container in the car with him once he pulled over. That's where the DUI came into play. And he was also arrested in June for allegedly failing to pay an $802 hotel bill. $802? Must be a lot of room service. I don't know. That's a pretty hefty bill. That's for sure. Alrighty. Well, let me get to the chance now here to tell you about where we were supposed to be before things kind of got shifted around here last minute. Again, unforeseen circumstances here, but the Broken Goblet Brewery, 1500 Grundy's Lane in Bristol, PA. Our good friends over there. Tonight brings the return of host Dawn for Kinky Quizzo. That should certainly be a fun time, and while I'm not there at the moment because of said circumstances, I will be making my way over there, and I'd say, after taking care of some other bits of business here, roughly in the 2 o'clock range, I'd say. Anytime after that, you want to stop on by, and I'll be there hanging out and enjoying the deliciousness that they have there. And if you can't make it out this afternoon, come on out tonight for some of the naughty fun of Kinky Quizzo. Also, some of the other weekly features over at the Goblet include the Sunday Bloody Marys and Bloody Flights, as well as the brews from noon to 5. And Tuesdays, well, there's Jackbox.tv on the big screen. So all you have to do is pull out the cell phone, which you probably would be anyway, and hop into the particular room that is going on, and you're able to play on the big screen games that are going on, and those are certainly some fun and interesting ones. I know that the murder mystery, the murder game is one that throws a lot of people off. Also, the the fibbage game, where you have to answer questions as well as provide your own fake answer, and you get points for people guessing your fake answer as well as you guessing the correct answer. And you can compete with, I believe, up to 7 other people. I think it's up to 8 at a time. Also on Wednesdays, open mic night with Brian Bortnick, something that Lucas has made attendance for on a few different occasions. Arguably more so than here. Thursdays, there's the house musician Mike Estabrook. He plays tunes, and they also have the new Esta Bingo, which can help you get you a chance to win chances at a quarterly jackpot, which also is split with charity. Fridays, live music from a variety of different acts, and the first Friday of every month is the other house musician Cara Cartney. First Fridays with Cara Cartney, so that'll be coming up this Friday the 3rd. And Saturdays are a hodgepodge of events, anything from the Kinky Quizzo Tonight to Reese's Bar-Wide Heads Up to other musical acts and sometimes movies and a whole bunch more. And then, despite all those events, there's also, I haven't even gotten into the brews, which there's a bunch, but currently on tap you've got the 2018 edition of Bubba's Tea Bag, also the Broken Batch Saison. It's a little bit lighter than the traditional Under Her Spell Saison. The Gyroscopes and Infrared IPA. Also the Tom Bombadil. That is a bit of a newer, wilder variety, for lack of a better term. It's more of a floral type arrangement, I guess, is a decent way to describe it here. Yeah, it's a farmhouse ale with wildflower honey added, so it's moderately crisp. It also has a few other notes as well. So definitely, that's on the, I guess, a little bit on the sweeter side, as it has notes of straw, pear, and a Brett character from the yeast blend. That one's certainly a new and delicious one. Also, the watermelon edition of Steinbeiser's Buried Treasure, or the Watermelon Buried Treasure. So that's a nice watermelon-flavored cream ale. And the Yin Yang Oatmeal Stout. So just a few reasons why it's always a good time at the Broken Goblet Brewery, 1500 Grundy's Lane in Bristol, PA. Broken Goblet Brewing, the semi-official brewery of Pro Wrestling Weekly. Please enjoy responsibly. We'll take care of a little bit of business, come back, get into some more news, do a little money talk as far as the quarterly numbers, as well as who cashed in big on WWE stock by making a huge sale. We'll tell you all that, plus the reunion that you may or may not necessarily want, but the tease is certainly out there, and also those contracts that are going to be expiring early next year. So there may be a little bit of a shakeup in WWE if they opt not to re-sign. We'll tell you all about that and more here on Pro Wrestling Weekly on 1490 WBCB and online at WBCB1490.com.
Rob's Automotive and Collision Center in Lower Bucks County is a full-service repair center with competitive prices, top-of-the-line products, and the finest auto, body, and mechanical repair technicians anywhere. Rob makes repairing your car easy. Rental cars are available and a free courtesy shuttle is provided. 2700 Veterans Highway in Bristol, 215-826-9200 in New Jersey, at 1108 Route 12 in Frenchtown, or 24-hour emergency towing. Call 215-826-0250.
You won't see termites crawling across your floor, but thousands might be devouring the wood in your walls, weakening the structure of your home. For over 50 years, Termite Proofing and Pest Control of the Delaware Valley has been in the exterminating business. If you think you have a pest problem, they're the experts. Call them today at 215-639-5455. That's 215-639-5455 for TPPC. Termite Proofing and Pest Control of the Delaware Valley gives your home or business peace of mind, knowing your pest problem is in their hands. Located at 1560 Bristol Pike in Bensalem, they use only EPA-approved material applied by licensed technicians. Call Termite Proofing and Pest Control of the Delaware Valley at 215-639-5455.
Win tickets to see the Phillies or Trenton Thunder from the Italian People's Bakery in Levittown. Just fill out an entry blank at the Italian People's Bakery at Woodburn and Oxford Valley Roads in Levittown. Weekly drawings to win tickets to see the Phillies or Thunder. The Italian People's Bakery, where everything is baked fresh on the premises, is open Monday through Saturday from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m., Sundays till 5 p.m.
Pro Wrestling Weekly presents Today in Wrestling History, July 28. On this date in 1997, WCW Monday Nitro aired live from Charleston, West Virginia. In the main event, Scott Steiner defeated Randy Savage by disqualification. On this date in 2003, WWE Monday Night Raw aired live from Colorado Springs, Colorado. In the main event, Molly Holly pinned Gail Kim to win the WWE Women's Championship. On this date in 2008, WWE Monday Night Raw aired live from Washington, D.C. In the main event, Batista and John Cena defeated John Bradshaw Layfield and Kane in a tag team match. On this date in 2014, WWE Monday Night Raw aired live from Houston, Texas. In the main event, Chris Jericho defeated Seth Rollins by disqualification. This has been Today in Wrestling History, July 28.
You are listening to Pro Wrestling Weekly with Fearon Dairy.
Welcome back to Pro Wrestling Weekly here on 1490 WBCB and online at WBCB1490.com. Fearon Dairy here with you with, I guess, a lone birthday candle or something along those lines. Anyway, we've got some news to get into, but first I see that the phone had lit up. Perhaps maybe the ears were burning a little bit, or maybe he already took care of the Emma meet and greet. I don't know, but nonetheless, we have from the Windy City, Dan from Chicago.
What's going on, Fearon? How are you doing? Today's your birthday?
It is.
Happy birthday.
Thank you. It's, well, as I told Ed earlier, it's, well, let's see. We've got roughly another... a little more than 11 hours to see if we can switch that around here. But it's been a long one to say the least. But yeah, as I said in the top of the show,
I'm 37. What? I'm 37. I'm not old.
Gotta love the Monty Python reference.
Well, I will be. I'll be 44 Wednesday. So.
Yeah, it's not old either.
Father time comes up pretty quick.
Well, I'll save my words for Father Time once we're off the air here because I like to stay on the air. We'll just leave it at that.
I'm a little confused about something with the rules about Monday Night Raw. Okay, with the whole Brock Lesnar versus Goldberg, Roman Reigns. Sorry, Roman Reigns for SummerSlam, and you have Braun Strowman as Money in the Bank. So Stephanie announced that, she had said that, it's going to be Kevin Owens versus Braun Strowman for the Money in the Bank contract. So what does this mean when Monday hits, when, Brock and, God, why do I want to say Goldberg? For some reason, when Roman Reigns go face-to-face and something happens, so that means that Strowman can't come in and cash. I thought you could cash in at any time and anywhere. But if the Money in the Bank's on the line, is that null and void till SummerSlam?
Well, I don't think that was necessarily addressed.
No, not at all. I was kind of confused.
Yeah, but my best guess, I mean, I'm sure that there are a number of different ways to work around it. I mean, should, let's say, Braun Strowman cash in and win the title, I mean, that could open up a number of different possibilities, more than likely even a triple threat match for SummerSlam, where you would have then champion Braun Strowman defending against both Brock Lesnar and Roman Reigns. Or maybe they could make it a four-way because Kevin Owens is in the mix there, because he'd feel that his shot was taken away because Strowman cashed it in accidentally. So, I mean, that could be a possibility. I mean, they
never explained anything. I'm like, well, what the heck? They should say that Strowman can't cash in until you know what I mean, or something. But that's not true because you can cash in anywhere or at any time. You know what I mean? Well, when Lesnar decides to show up.
Yeah, and I guess that could be a factor too. Is if, let's say, he cashes in, because then I guess the question is, what happens if Strowman cashes in but doesn't successfully win the title? Then he has no Money in the Bank contract, and then
Right.
Kevin Owens kind of gets the proverbial shaft.
Right.
So I would imagine the make good behind that would be to maybe down the line give a title shot to Owens for having the opportunity taken away from him. I mean, it's a possibility, but you're right. With that not being addressed, it does open the door for a litany of different possibilities.
They seem to have problems with doing stuff like that. Like, they don't address rules or whatever, or when they do, it's like a week before the show or the day before a pay-per-view, they'll announce a rule or something. You know what I mean? Or the day of. They're not really, they haven't been really too good with the sort of thing. Why is that, you think?
I don't know, but V1 from OSW Review would love you for calling out, what about the rules, paying attention to the rules. So that's... love those three Irish lads over there who do that podcast. Yeah, OSW Review is definitely something to check out.
All right, I will.
Yeah, they look back at. I'll give them a free plug. Why not? I mean, they're halfway across the world, but they're a video podcast online that they chronologically critique wrestling storylines pay-per-view by pay-per-view.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I
so
like
they initially started. Gosh, I think like 6 years ago at this point, going. Through the Hulkamania era, starting at WrestleMania 1 and going all the way up to SummerSlam 92, which was the pay-per-view after Hogan left at WrestleMania 8.
Got it.
Yeah, so and then they went to a different story arc, and they've covered some WCW, some ECW, some TNA. They had a fun little thing where they did the David Arquette trilogy.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, so they've bounced around and had some fun with a few different things. So
His name's been coming up on certain media outlets as well lately. Jeez.
Yeah, right now they're actually in the midst of what they're calling the Lex Express era.
Yeah.
So they're looking. They looked at SummerSlam '93. SummerSlam '93, I believe, is I think the close to the end of it. But they're doing the King of the Ring '93, SummerSlam '93. I think they're also in there doing the. I think they're leading up to it. The Survivor Series '92, Royal Rumble '93, the debut episode of Monday Night Raw is the one they just most recently released. So yeah, they've got a bunch of fun stuff. That's kind of what I was going with that.
The Lex Express, it's funny that you mentioned that because one day last couple of weeks ago on the WWE Network, they have a whole thing on the, I forgot what the category is. Shoot. But anyway, they showed, like, it's kind of weird. They show his journey to SummerSlam '93. It's kind of funny. So they show Luger's whole bus ride and everything up until SummerSlam '93 on his world tour.
Well, it's more of a nationwide tour, but
nationwide tour. Yeah, it's pretty funny.
Yeah, I wouldn't put the bus in the ocean. That wouldn't be a good idea.
No, but it was kind of interesting. I wanted to see if they'd show him track at any time, but no, he was in character the whole time.
Yeah, hey,
interesting.
And it worked out really well. I mean, I know that my then 12-year-old self was or 11 turning 12-year-old self was all hooked on it at that point.
Right.
Gosh, that was 25 years ago. Oh, man.
Like I said, the whole Father Time thing's catching up.
Yeah.
I know, isn't it disgusting?
It is. Oh, son of a... That's pretty much what I feel like with that. It just takes the wind out of the sails, I suppose.
Things that just seem to just happen, like you just said. No, it didn't just happen, but it feels like it has been 25 years, or in my case, because like I said, I'm going to be 44. It's happened a little bit longer, and it kind of sucks.
I mean, SummerSlam '93 was 25 years ago, or almost 25 years ago, but the Lex Express was touring as we speak 25 years ago.
Right. That was an interesting journey.
Yeah, that's certainly one way of putting it.
How they dropped the ball with that, or he dropped the ball. He had the world by the you-know-what, and he could have been the next Hogan, and for some, God, he's like, what could have been,
Well, to say the next Hogan is kind of they're lofty shoes to fill. I think the issue was, I mean, while Luger certainly is a great person, I mean, I had the pleasure being able to interview him here for the show. But I think if you're comparing charisma, Luger doesn't come anywhere close. Even though Luger has the more defined body and just looks like, well, I mean, he was a bodybuilder, so I mean, he looked like, in that regard, he looked like a champion in that sense. But I mean, he never won any titles in WWE.
No, not even tag team, nothing. I see nothing.
A bunch in WCW.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Anyway, I was gonna say, time is quickly moving along here.
No,
it's amazing how that time flies when you're having fun. And
have a good day today. Happy birthday. We'll talk to you next week.
Yep, sounds like a plan. Thanks for the call, Dan. Appreciate it. So yeah, a couple of quick news tidbits here. So I won't get too much into the financials because they tend to be a little drawn out and whatnot. But the second quarter financial results, the company reported $10 million of net income as opposed to just a little over half that in the second quarter of last year. And they're touting record revenue of $281.6 million. Their subscriber count is down a little bit from the last quarter because there's always a little bit of a dip after WrestleMania, but still more than this quarter a year ago, about a little over 100,000 more subscribers. They're up to almost 1.75 million paid subscribers as of the end of June. And the overall subscriber count, if you include the freebies, is 1.787 million. So they've cut back on the freebies a little bit. There's only maybe about 45,000 free members at the immediate moment. But that's still down a little bit, down about 400,000, I should say, from around WrestleMania. But it is what it is. What can you do with it? But part of the reason things were going so well is because the stocks have been going through the roof thanks to the TV deal. And one person who made bank on that earlier this week is one of the top WWE executives and producers, Kevin Dunn. That's right. He cashed out on over almost 123,000 shares at $82.92 a share. So that's just over $10 million. That's right, $10,193,23.92. It's quite a bit there. So good job there, Kevin Dunn. And I'm sure if Lucas were here, he would have a lot more to say about Kevin Dunn that he probably couldn't. We'll just leave it at that here. Yes. And some contractual things to get into. The Wrestling Observer noting that the WWE contracts of Shinsuke Nakamura, AJ Styles, Luke Gallows, and Carl Anderson will expire by early next year. Now, New Japan Pro Wrestling, where a lot of them wrestled or came from at some point, noted that they have absolute interest in bringing Nakamura back, noting that Nakamura's name value is much higher than since he debuted with WWE. Styles said in March that he would be interested in re-signing with WWE when his contract is up, adding, quote, "I don't see why not. If I can do what I do, like if I can still be AJ Styles, then I would like to keep working in the WWE in a talent form. So as long as I can keep going, then I would like to keep working there." Very interestingly said. And no word was provided in the Observer note regarding Gallows and Anderson and where their thoughts are, but their contracts expire a little bit later. They're in February of next year as opposed to January for Nakamura and AJ Styles. And, well, I don't know if for life is necessarily the phrase to use, but Hulk Hogan tweeting out yesterday evening a picture of himself, Scott Hall, and Kevin Nash from the Bash at the Beach pay-per-view when the NWO was formed back in '96. 22 years ago and change, adding in the tweet, "Nothing like a flashback Friday with my brothers for life, brother." And he tagged Hall and Nash in the tweet. Scott Hall, I guess, trying to stir the pot a little bit, like Scott Hall and others tend to do, by quoting the tweet and simply saying, "We should all get together soon, #DareYa." So even still causing mischief and mayhem here, pushing 60 is Scott Hall. And I don't know, do we want to see a sextagenarian NWO at this point? Yeah, I didn't think so. So, wow. Well, birthday's been interesting, to say the least. Gonna go head on out of here over to the Broken Goblet. Hopefully you can join me on out there and look forward to some fun. And next week will be interesting. It'll be kind of a different anniversary in a sense, as next week will be 5 years since Lucas started with the show here. Wow. Yeah, 5 years, Ted. Oh, wow. The fact that Ted, you of all people, are asking that question. I was thinking it, but I was like, all right, I've Mahoney busted him a little bit here, but no, that's wow. I'm sure as he's warming up for the for the dojo at the moment, I can only imagine his ears are burning probably, and I've got a pretty good idea of what he's saying.
That is not fair.
It is fair though. It's what happens when you establish a reputation.
Part-time.
He is definitely part-time, but we love the kid. We'll have a little bit more fun. It'll almost be more like a roast in a sense. But speak of the kid, I believe that we're at that point where it's time for
birthdays.
There we go. We'll do it twice here. We already went over mine, so we don't need to know about that. But I mean, we've already heard plenty about it. But 3 + 4 Brucey bonuses. So first, on this date in 1987, Lindsay K. Hayward was born. The 6'9" tall actress and NXT and TNA pro wrestler, better known as her ring names either Aloysia or on the independent scene as Isis the Amazon. She turns 31 today. Wow. 6'9", yeah. She definitely had her Wheaties and then some. On this date in 1989, Nicholas Massey was born, the New Japan Pro Wrestling and Ring of Honor star who currently holds the IWGP Tag Team Championship, the Never Openweight 6-Man Tag Team title, as well as the Ring of Honor World 6-Man Tag Team Championship, better known as Nick Jackson of the Young Bucks. Get out your super kicks, folks. Turns 29 today. Man, it seems like they've been around forever, but I mean, Nick Jackson, he debuted along with his older brother. His older brother Matt Jackson as the Young Bucks. I mean, he debuted. Nick did when he was 15. Oh. Yeah, so started training a little earlier than that, but made his wrestling debut at the age of 15. So the fact that he's 29 now, I mean, he's 29. He's got 13 years pro experience. Amazing. And on this date in 1993, Noam Dar was born, the Israeli-born Scottish wrestler currently signed to WWE's 205 Live Cruiserweight division, turns 25 today. Now, on the Brucey bonus scale, things outside of the world of wrestling, on this date in 1945, Jim Davis was born. The cartoonist best known as the creator of the comic strip Garfield, turns 73 today. Wow. Yeah. On this date in 1947, Sally Struthers was born, the 2-time Emmy Award-winning actress best known for her role as Gloria Stivic in the 70s sitcom All in the Family. She turned 71 today. On this date in 1948, Georgia Engel was born, the actress and comedian Georgette Franklin Baxter on Mary Tyler Moore Show. She turns the big 7-0 today, huh?
Do a hiatus head for me?
No, I'm not going to do a hiatus head for you. I've already had enough bad news about me today. There you go. There's your Ted Baxter. And on this date in 1964, Lori Ann Laughlin was born, the actress and model best known for her role as Rebecca Donaldson Katsopoulos on the late 80s and early 90s sitcom Full House. She turns 54 today. So that's going to do it for me. I'm going to head on out of here and try to enjoy the rest of my birthday. You got it, dude, as Michelle from Full House so eloquently said. And yeah, Ted Efaw is next with the Country Road Show. Definitely want to stick around for that and the Country Roads memories with the Judds. Until then, play us out, Nutsy.
1 o'clock in all's well.
Celebrating 60 years of broadcasting excellence, we're 1490 WBCB.